Can you imagine an apocalypse, 33,000 feet in the air? When the world collapses, the only place to survive is a plane or an abandoned airport. In this list, we'll dive into movies and series where chaos, viruses, and destruction unfold high above the ground or on grounded runways. Buckle up for pure adrenaline and nowhere to escape. Quarantine 2. Have you ever wondered what would happen if an ordinary flight turned into a trap with no way out? This horror film takes the apocalyptic horror from an apartment building to an airplane and into a cut-off airplane terminal. During an overnight flight, one of the passengers suddenly begins to show signs of aggression. His body changes, his mind disappears, and brutality takes over. It quickly becomes apparent that this is no ordinary disease. It is a mutating virus that is spreading with frightening speed. After an emergency landing, the passengers are taken to a terminal that is immediately quarantined. Cut off from the world, trapped with carriers of the disease, they must fight for their lives, not knowing who else to trust. Quarantine 2 is a claustrophobic, suspenseful thriller in which the threat doesn't come from outside. It's already here, and it grows with each passing second. Into the night. If you think the greatest threat to humanity is darkness, think again. This post-apocalyptic series shows a world where sunrise brings death. A mysterious phenomenon causes solar radiation to kill everything that lives. A group of random passengers take over an airplane and embark on a desperate race against time. Their only chance for survival is to fly relentlessly westward in the shadow of night. Alliances, conflicts, and distrust are born on board because when the world ends, everyone has something to hide. The series combines elements of thriller, drama, and survivalism to create an intense story about how thin the line between humanity and survival instinct is. Into the Night is a story that shows that sometimes you don't need monsters or aliens. All you need is the sun. Flight of the Living Dead. This film proves that even high above the ground, you can't escape the apocalypse. Plane Dead, also known as Flight of the Living Dead, is a frenetic horror film that brings a zombie outbreak aboard a passenger plane. On a routine flight from Los Angeles to Paris, a group of scientists smuggle a coffin containing a body infected with an experimental virus. When turbulence damages security, the virus escapes, and the dead woman is brought back to life as the first undead. Chaos engulfs more rows of seats, and passengers turn into bloodthirsty beasts. A handful of survivors try to stay alive, knowing that landing may be impossible. Governments will not allow the virus to escape to Earth. Plane Dead is a full-blooded, claustrophobic B-grade horror film in which the threat doesn't lurk outside. It has just risen from the coffin and is flying with you. The Strain. If you think vampires are just romantic characters from legends, this series will brutally change your mind. The Strain is a dark, post-apocalyptic story about a virus that turns people into monstrous, parasitic creatures. It all starts with a mysterious plane that lands in New York with almost all the passengers dead. Dr. Ephraim Goodweather of the Center for Disease Control is called in to investigate and quickly discovers that this is just the beginning of the nightmare. The virus spreads rapidly, and the streets of the metropolis turn into a battlefield for survival. The series combines medical, mythological, and purely horror themes to create a universe where there is no room for hope, only resistance. The Strain is a story about the collapse of civilization, the struggle against darkness, and the limits of humanity as the world succumbs to an unstoppable infection. As you can see, not even the skies are safe during the apocalypse. These films and shows prove that planes and airports can be just as terrifying as ruined cities. Let us know in the comments which title impressed you the most, or share your own pick.